The iPhone 16, remember all the buzz around that launch?
It was huge, right? Everyone was talking about the new AI features. So, in this deep dive today, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this. We're going to look at what Apple promised about Siri, what actually happened, and what this whole mess tells us about AI, about where it is now, about how companies talk about it, the whole deal.
Sounds like a plan. Let's unpack it.
So, first things first, the lawsuit. What's the deal?
Okay, so according to the Register, this is a class action lawsuit,
Hmm.
and it's been filed in U.S. federal court. The plaintiff, the guy leading the charge, is named Peter Landschaft. And basically his argument is that Apple, well, they went all out with their marketing campaign for the iPhone 16, right? Starting back in like mid-2024.
Right.
And they made all these promises about all the cool stuff Siri was going to be able to do with this new Apple intelligence.
It's Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, that's their big buzzword. But according to Landschaft and the other people joining the lawsuit, those promised features, well, they never actually showed up,
They were just vaporware.
basically. And this is not just some, small claims court thing. The lawsuit throws the book at Apple. We're talking violations of California law like the unfair competition law, the false advertising law, the Consumers Legal Remedies Act.
Wow.
They even claim fraud, negligent misrepresentation, and breach of contract.
Oh, they are not messing around. So what they're saying is Apple essentially tricked them into buying the new iPhone based on features that didn't even exist.
Right. And the article points out that Apple has basically admitted this. In their own words, they said that these celebrated features, particularly the Siri upgrades, they, quote, did not exist then and do not exist now, unquote.
Okay, so hold on. Let's rewind a bit. What exactly were these amazing AI features that Apple promised? What were we supposed to be getting with this new Siri?
Well, the Register gives us a very specific example. They quote one of Apple's press releases. And in it, Apple promised, and I quote, "Priority notifications will surface what's most important, and Siri will become even more capable with the ability to draw on a user's personal context to deliver intelligence that's tailored to them."
So basically, Siri was going to be more intuitive, more personalized. Like, it would actually understand what you need and when you need it.
Right. And there's more. They also said, quote, "Siri will also gain on-screen awareness, as well as be able to take hundreds of new actions in and across Apple and third-party apps." End quote.
Hundreds of new actions. That's a lot. It sounds like they were pitching Siri as this like super powered digital assistant.
Absolutely. And all of this was under the umbrella of, Apple Intelligence.
Yeah.
And if you remember Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, he called this technology profound. He used that word at their big developer conference back in 2024.
Right. So the hype was real. They were really building this up as something game-changing, but then it all fell apart.
Well, not completely. I mean, they did develop this Apple private cloud compute thing, which was supposed to, do all the AI processing in the cloud while keeping your data private and secure.
Right. Privacy is a big concern these days.
Absolutely. But the problem is the AI features that they actually launched, they were, well, the Register calls them underwhelming.
Underwhelming. That's a nice way to put it. So basically, they overpromised and underdelivered.
Pretty much. And to make matters worse, just this month, in March 2025, Apple told Reuters and a bunch of other news outlets that some of the personalization features for Siri, they're being delayed, pushed back to 2026.
Oh, so now we have to wait even longer. I can see why people are upset.
Yeah, and that delay is a key part of this lawsuit. The plaintiff is saying that Apple misled consumers, misled you, about what the iPhone 16 could actually do, and that this might have swayed people's decisions, made them buy the iPhone 16 instead of, some other phone.
Right. So now it's not just about the features themselves, but about how Apple marketed them, how they may have used these promises to gain an advantage over their competitors.
Exactly. And the lawsuit also brings up this idea of, the AI race.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's trying to be the leader in AI.
Right. And the lawsuit argues that Apple is, well, they're falling behind. They name companies like Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta. Those companies are, quote, pulling ahead.
So it's like a double whammy for Apple. Not only do they not deliver on their promises, but they're also losing ground to their rivals.
Yeah, it's not a good look. But, the article also points out something interesting. It says that, being ahead in this AI race, it doesn't automatically translate to profit. Not yet, anyway.
That's true. There's a lot of hype, but it's still early days for AI. It's not clear yet how all this will play out in the market.
Exactly. It's all about potential right now.
Yeah.
But potential doesn't always pay the bills, does it?
Nope, it doesn't. So what about Apple? What are they doing internally to address all this?
Well, according to the Register, there have been some changes. Apparently, there's been a bit of a shakeup in their AI leadership. Mike Rockwell, who he was involved with the Vision Pro headset, remember that?
The one that didn't exactly take off?
Yeah, that one. Well, he's now in charge of Siri. He's taken over from John Giannandrea, who was their AI chief.
Huh. So they've switched things up at the top. That often suggests, some internal turmoil, like they're trying to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it.
Yeah, definitely raises some eyebrows.
Mm.
And there's this analyst, Benedict Evans, who's quoted in the article. And he wonders, is this a sign of something deeper at Apple? He uses this phrase, a Windows Vista-like drift into systemically poor execution.
Systemically poor execution. Oof, that's a harsh assessment.
It is. And it's a bit worrying, right? I mean, we're talking about Apple here, a company known for its sleek products and smooth user experience.
Mm.
But if they're slipping up, if they're making promises they can't keep, well, that could have big implications for their future.
It could. And what's interesting is that when the Register reached out to Apple for a comment on all this, on the lawsuit, the allegations,
They got nothing.
nothing, no response.
Well, sometimes silence speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does. And there's this almost ironic twist at the end of the article. They write that, quote, Siri has no idea how to answer our questions, end quote.
Oh, wow. That's pretty meta.
Right. The AI that was supposed to be so smart, so helpful, can't even answer basic questions about itself or about this whole controversy.
It really drives home the point, doesn't it? The gap between the promise and the reality of AI is, well, it's pretty wide right now.
So let's zoom out for a second, bring it all together. We've got this major tech company, Apple. They make some really bold claims about the AI capabilities of their flagship phone, the iPhone 16. But then those features don't materialize, at least not to the extent that was promised. And now they're facing a lawsuit alleging that they deceived consumers, that they essentially tricked people into buying a product based on technology that doesn't really exist.
And that raises some really important questions for all of us, for you, for me, for anyone who uses technology. Because AI is everywhere, and it's only going to become more prevalent in our lives. So how do we navigate this? How do we separate the real breakthroughs from the hype? How do we know what to believe?
Exactly. And what about the companies themselves? What responsibility do they have to be honest and transparent about their products, especially when it comes to something as complex and rapidly evolving as AI?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because there's a fine line between, marketing and misleading. And when it comes to AI, the possibilities are so vast, it's tempting to get carried away with the promises. But ultimately, it's the results that matter. What can this technology actually do for us? And can it live up to the hype?
I think that's a question we're all going to be grappling with for a long time to come. As AI gets more sophisticated, the stakes get higher. And we need to be savvy consumers, informed and aware of both the potential and the pitfalls. Because AI isn't going away. It's here to stay, for better or for worse.
It is. And the choices we make now, how we develop it, how we use it, how we regulate it, those choices are going to have a profound impact on our future. So it's worth taking the time to understand it, to ask the tough questions, and to demand better from the companies that are shaping this technology.
Couldn't agree more.
Because AI has the potential to be an incredible tool to solve problems, to improve our lives in countless ways. But it also has the potential to be misused, to be abused, to create new problems that we haven't even imagined yet. So we need to be careful, we need to be thoughtful, and we need to be engaged.
That's a great point to end on. So for everyone listening, as you go about your day, as you interact with technology, think about the AI that's working behind the scenes. Think about the promises being made, the potential benefits and the potential risks, and ask yourself, are we building the future we want?
It's a question worth pondering.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and the legal battle brewing over Siri's unfulfilled promises.
Always a pleasure.
And for all of you listening, stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we'll be tackling another fascinating topic from the world of tech and society. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.
We'll see you next time.